Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Lemon Branch Travels. Today we are in Vienna, and we're going to check out a whole bunch of sites here in the city of Vienna, Austria. We are so excited to be here. It's our first day here. We've got all kinds of things to go check out and see. I don't want you to miss anything because we have a fabulous tour guide who is from Austria, who happens to be my son-in-law's mother. So she is here taking us around her town, and we're gonna see all kinds of fun stuff. So stick with us, and because you don't want to miss anything. You know, those who travel have stories to tell. So let's go tell a story. Okay, so one of the nice things about where we're actually at right here in Vienna, we're kind of at the city center. So there is a lot of things all around here for us to do. There's a subway very close to here. So if you're worried about transportation, don't, if you are staying here in the Vienna area. Now, if you've been watching our other videos, you saw that we actually rented a car. I got a car, and it was actually so easy to drive here. The streets, almost exactly the same. There's a few little street signs, and I would recommend just kind of looking at European street signs. Just glance at them so you know what they mean. Other than that, everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. Most of the signs are self-explanatory. Driving here is exactly like driving in the States. You're on the right side, and everybody literally travels exactly the same. So if you're traveling on the freeway, you stay in the right lane. If you're going slower, you get in the left lane to pass. So it's basically the same concept here. I felt just exactly like anywhere else I've ever driven, any city in the world, any city in the States. It just felt like I was driving around there. So, having said that, now that we're in the big city, we are going to be taking the subway all over the place. So there are subway stops all along the city. So from the airport, you can just jump on a train that'll take you, so you buy a ticket, it'll take you to a transfer station or the subway, and then you can purchase several different tickets. We are here for 3 days, so we purchased a 3-day train ticket that allows us to get on and off the train and go wherever we need to with unlimited stops, and it's good for those 3 days. It's not just the subway, it also works for their bus system, and so the other different types of transportations that are their public transportation. So it is definitely worth doing. If you buy it in a couple day package, I want to say it was like $17 per person for the 3 days that we're going to be here. So it's 17 euros, I should say. So it's very inexpensive, super easy to do. So other than that, don't worry about the transportation. Don't let that hold you back if that's something that's making you nervous. Because this city has so much fun things to explore. So let me just kind of show you. I've just kind of been walking down one of the main shopping districts, and I'll just kind of show you some of the sites, and then we're going to meet up with our tour guide, and they're going to take us and show us a bunch of really amazing things that are right here in Vienna. So as you can see, it's kind of a hustle bustle town, at least this little area here, and we've already passed a couple different subway stops along the way, and like I said, everything is centrally located here in the heart of Vienna, so you really don't need a car. You just take the trains everywhere. So more on that, I'm sure, as we get going, but what we're on the hunt for is local cuisine and different things like that you can't get anywhere else except for here in Vienna. So hopefully we'll find some yummy things to eat. This is so touristy right here, though. There's not a lot of shopping for like actual Austrian clothing, things like that. This is way too touristy. You have to go outside of the touristy areas to find some of that. At least that's been my experience. So they have just awesome pastries along the way. Look at this pastry shop. And then of course they have strudel everywhere, they have brats, they have all kinds of different foods that are just awesome through here. So it's about 10:45 in the morning, and so you can see it's kind of picked over a little bit, but They have some pretty good looking pastries in this shop to it. Okay, so we are going to get ourselves some pastries here. We're going to get ourselves a croissant as well as a chocolate croissant. Okay, so we got those pastries, and I'll show you those here in just a minute when we stop, so you can see what we got. We got a couple croissants. We got a plain croissant, we got a chocolate croissant, and then we got one that has pistachio on it, or pistachio. Had some kind of a cream pistachio on top, so I'll show you that here in a minute. But I wanted to show you a couple Wurststand. That Wurststand is another really popular cuisine here. Okay, I wanted to show you our hotel. This right here is the building that our hotel is in. It only occupies part of the building, but you can see the outside kind of balcony areas right there of the hotel. It's called Lime Home, and this is an interesting hotel. It does not have a front desk, so when you book here, it's a little bit less money, and it's in a really good location right by the subway. So the subway is literally, see that street right there? You just come out here and hang a left, and the subway is like right there. So it's only like a block away. This here, what they do is you book it, then they give you a code, and you come to this keypad right here and you put in the code. It opens the door, and then the same code that gets you through that keypad right there that opens this door, it also opens your door to your room. So they'll assign you the room number, and this tells you kind of where the rooms are located, the numbers, and what floor. Okay, our room is 115, and so you just come up and hit the code 6622 check. It opens up, and here is our room. So our room is kind of small. I didn't vlog this last night because of how late we got in. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning actually this morning. So it does have a king size bed, and then there was a couch bed here, but they didn't have any bedding for us. And then over here, and sorry it's a mess because we have already torn the place apart, but there's a little kitchenette, or sorry, there's a little table and the TV. There is a tiny kind of half kitchenette. It's not even really a kitchenette. It just has a fridge and a coffee maker and some stuff over there. You can see that we've got the closet there. And then this in here is the bathroom. It's got a nice shower. Everywhere in Europe, they do have these towel racks. They're warming towel racks, so that's kind of nice because they have the warm towels. Okay, so there's the pastry bags and how they packed them up. And then when we go to eat them a little bit later, I will make sure I vlog it for you so you can see. But that's how they packaged them up, and that's the name of the bakery we got it. Okay, so these are the pastries we ended up with. This is the pistachio. It's like a pistachio donut, kind of a pistachio glaze. You can kind of see the pistachio nuts on top. And then we got the chocolate croissant, the regular croissant, and then we actually got a surprise. Somebody brought these to us, and I don't really know what they are, other than I think that's probably a savory croissant filled with, I don't know, we're gonna find out. That looks like a strudel, an apple strudel, and I don't know what the other thing is either. So those are surprises, but those are, and it came from it might have been the same baker. It looks like it is, yeah. Okay, I want to show you what the subways look like here. So you'll just see a station like this, and it'll always have, you know, it'll be a U something. It's always U something. This is the red line, so this is the U1. So what we're going to do is, it's the red line U1 right there. You see the red line U1. You just come in, and then we're going to head down the stairs, and I'm going to show you just kind of what it is. There's 2 platforms. One goes one way, one goes the other way. And so if you just put into your maps, it'll tell you which way you want to go, obviously. So there's a couple things to look for. See this right here? Uberla, LAA, that goes that way. The Leopoldau goes the other way. So what we're gonna do is we're meeting up with our other party, and so we just watch for the trains to come in. But this is what the train station looks like, or the subway station. Okay, so here we are at the Keplerplatz. So this is the Keplerplatz station. It'll be shown right here on the map. So you can see as we go to the next stop, there's a transfer for buses. The next stop after that, the Karlsplatz. That one is a transfer to the purple line and the green line, and then another transfer. The next one is the orange line. The next one after that is the U4 green line. The next stop after that is the purple U2. So there's a couple different stops where you can transfer, if that makes sense. So if you're going to be transferring from one train to another, you just look at these maps. It's super easy. And also, if you put it into Google Maps, it'll actually tell you what stops to make. It'll tell you, okay, get off at this stop, get off at that stop. It's very, very intuitive. So that's what that is like. And then here is, so this is the other side. This is how it works. See how it opened up? People got off, and this one's taking just a couple extra seconds, and then the door shut, and as soon as they shut, it's out of here. So it's just like any other subway you've ever been on. So if you're familiar with subways, you're going to be able to find your way around as easy as can be. The other thing that's nice is up on these signs, it will tell you how long to the next train. So the next one that we're waiting for is in 3 minutes. After that, there's one that's in 8 minutes. Over here, the next one that just left, so we got 5 minutes and then 10 minutes. So they're running about every 5 minutes. Okay, so this is like literally the downtown area. Okay, so we're heading to the State Hall of the Austrian National Library in Vienna. So basically, this is the Austrian National Library, and the full official name is the State Hall of the Austrian National Library. But this was built in the 1700s for Emperor Charles VI, and he actually paid for this entire hall himself, which is why his statue is basically right here in the center. It's like front and center. So this library holds around 200,000 books, and many of them are over 500 years old. Okay, I wish you could smell what we're smelling in here. It is a very old, musty smell. The books definitely have a smell to them, and this whole building kind of does. So it's a very interesting, definitely an old smell, you know, when you're in an old building, but it's kind of accentuated with all of the old leather-bound books. Now, this ceiling fresco is painted by Daniel Gran, and it celebrates the Habsburg emperors, and the marble statues that we're seeing all around and the giant globes make the whole place feel like it's like we're stepping back in time. This is not a huge museum, but it's one of the most impressive Baroque libraries in the world, and definitely worth seeing when you're here in Vienna. Okay, so after the library, we're just kind of walking around some of these streets here, and that right there is the residence, the royal residence. We're gonna come talk a little bit more about that after, but we're gonna come walk back down this way, and I'm just gonna get some shots of what it's like to walk around city center of Vienna and some of the historical areas here in some of these buildings. I can see that. This is the center of town for sure. Okay, so this is a good example of what these subway stations are. Sometimes you come in, you get a little coffee shop, you know, or some pastries or breads, and then so there's always some kind of shops or newsstands, things like that in each of these. And then you come and find the line that you're going on. We are going back on the red line, so we are going to jump on one of those. Now, one thing to note, just like in the airports, if you're familiar with the escalators, you are to stand on the right side, so leaving the left side open for travelers who are needing to catch their train a little bit faster. Apparently they will yell at you or push you over if you are standing in the wrong spot. So good to know. Most everybody stands like this on the right side, so you can be passed on the left. So now we're just kind of working our way. We are not far from the train platform now. And like I said, they run about every 5 minutes. So there's a constant flow of trains. So we just need to make sure that we keep going on the U1 to get back to our next stop. If you have a destination or where you're heading, just throw it into Google Maps. It will tell you exactly where to go. All right, so these are the two different ways we can go. Is Oberla is where we need to go. So we're gonna come over here, and I like to look up and down to see how crowded it is. Not as crowded down this way, so we could probably jump into one of these cars here. It's not as crowded. Okay, I just want to do a quick update on this Lime Home place. So I will do a review. So far I'm not very impressed with it. It's a nice place, it's a cheap place, but we're supposed to be transferring rooms and they have locked us out of our room, so our luggage is actually stuck in this room, and they're supposed to have given us a code for the new room by 1 o'clock. They have not done that, and since there's nobody on property, you have to do everything through WhatsApp. So we have been texting them back and forth for the last probably half hour with no response. So that is one thing to think about, is you could be stranded here waiting for them to give you a response with a code to help us get in and out of the room. We can tell on WhatsApp that they have read our messages. They are just not very prompt. What happened last night is we paid for 3 people in the room. We got there and there was no bedding or anything for the sofa bed. Texting them, trying to get some bedding. No one was on property. They had all left for the day, so we were just pretty much SOL. We could not get anything. So that part is a strike against them. Today, we're moving from one room to another. They promised us that at 1 o'clock we would have our new code for our new room. That has not happened. It is now 1:20, and now we're locked out of our old room and we have no other new room. So it's kind of throwing a wrinkle in our plans. That's also a strike against them. So even though it's a nice place and it's got a decent, like everything's nice, good rates, just keep that in mind, you know. So yeah, not very good impression so far. Okay, so we're trying to find a place to eat real quick, and this is kind of the selections that we have. We have pre-made sandwiches, and they're all over the place, like crunchy chicken. You can see there's like a crispy chicken sandwich. There's pizza. That's basically very similar food on both sides that I can see. There's the pretzels. There's lots of bread stuffed with different meats, and there's like a vegetarian one. Looks like there's some kind of pizza stuff. So I think let's go look at the other place. I think there's a better selection and looked a little bit more fresh. So I'm just gonna walk across here. So this Anchor, this has a lot more stuff over here too. So we've been given 5 minutes to make it a selection on what we want to eat. And then we got about 15 minutes to eat, and that's about all we've got. So there's kind of the same similar things. This here is like a croissant with a sausage inside, and then I'm sure that's also like a vegetable something. I'm not really sure. There's a pizza, and then here's a whole bunch of other sandwiches, and then there's some pastries and things like that I can't even get to, so I'll try and show you that here in a minute. Also, there is a bunch of stuff here for the different things that we can eat. So this right here, this almonder, is absolutely fantastic. We love this. Spezi is super good too. That's like orange, lemon, lime, and cola. That's a really good one too. And then there's like some orange juices, Coke. That's kind of how the beverages work here. No fountain drinks. But let me come back over here and I'll show you kind of how there's these kind of sandwiches in here. Those look pretty good. And then there's some pastries up there. And then there's a bunch more pastries over here. What did you get? So we're gonna figure out what we're gonna get, and then I'll show you what we get. Okay, so this is a panini with prosciutto and mozzarella. And so they warmed it up as a panini. We have ourselves a croissant with sausage in it.
So go ahead.
There's the croissant with sausage. And then we got a chocolate croissant. Then this is an elderflower spritz. There's your elderflower spritz. And then, of course, we got the spezi, which is, like I said, it's like an orange Coke. It's very good. Okay, what I should have shown is when you buy a bottle or a soda, you bring it back and they give you a refund if you give them back the bottle. So she just scanned the bottles. So as you buy one of those bottles, you bring it back and then you get a refund.
Like cash or
Cash. She's gonna give it to me back on cash. Danke. Thank you. Yeah, oh yes.
Hello.
Hello, thank you. So this is Schönbrunn Palace. And Schönbrunn Palace is one of the highlights of Vienna and was the summer residence of the Habsburg family. Now, the Habsburgs were one of Europe's most powerful royal families, and they ruled Austria from the late Middle Ages until 1918 and even produced Holy Roman emperors. Now, the palace we see today was built in its current Baroque form in the early 1700s. It was completed around 1713 under Emperor Leopold I. On our tour, we walked through the imperial apartments where Empress Maria Theresa, who ruled from 1740 to 1780, lived with her 16 children, including Maria Antoinette. Later, Emperor Franz Joseph and Empress Elizabeth, or Sisi as she was called, also spent a lot of time here. The apartments are decorated with rich Baroque details, gold trim, crystal chandeliers, and the rooms were designed to impress any visitor that came. But it really gives you a glimpse into both the grandeur and daily lives of imperial family living. Now, after the tour inside, we had to step into the palace gardens. Now, these grounds are massive with long, perfectly linked walkways. There's fountains, statues, pretty much all over the place. From almost any point, you can see the Gloriette on the top of the hill, and that was built in 1775 as a grand pavilion. Walking up to it gives you a great view back over the palace and the city of Vienna. On the way through the gardens, we passed by the Schönbrunn Zoo, and that was founded in 1752, which makes it the oldest zoo in the world and is still operating today. Between the palace, the gardens, the zoo, and the incredible views, Schönbrunn really shows why the Habsburgs chose this as their summer home. It's not just a palace, it's a full experience, and it's easy to see why it's one of Vienna's most visited landmarks, and I highly recommend coming if you are thinking about coming to Vienna. This is a must stop. Okay, so there is some gelato, chocolate, pistachio, and amarena. And this is the store where we got it. And there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me today here in Vienna, Austria. It has been a fun day. We have done everything from walking through the historic library to going to Schönbrunn Palace to checking out some of the subways. We had some treats along the way, and hopefully you learned a little bit about this part of the world. So thanks again for joining us. If you did like this, don't forget to hit that like, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.